life will test you. It'll throw heartbreak, betrayal, failure, and doubt right at your face. Most people crack under pressure, not because they're weak, but because they never built the mindset to survive the storm. Today, we're breaking down the exact rules to create an unbreakable mind. So no matter what life throws at you, you rise stronger every single time. If you want an unbreakable mindset, the very first rule is this: own your energy. I'm talking about taking full responsibility for how you show up, no matter the chaos, no matter the drama, no matter what's happening in the world around you. Most people walk through life like emotional sponges. They absorb every negative comment, every bad headline, every disrespectful look from someone at the grocery store, and they let it change the way they feel. But if you want to win mentally, you have to stop outsourcing your mood to the world. Your emotional state is not for rent. It's not up for grabs. It's yours, and you have to guard it like your life depends on it, because in a way, it does. Owning your energy starts with awareness. You have to catch yourself in those moments when something external tries to hijack your mood. Think about it. You wake up feeling good, but then you check your phone, see a negative comment, or remember that email you forgot to send, and suddenly you're stressed. That's how most people lose the day before it even starts. If you don't take control, the world will take control for you. You have to decide before you leave the house, before you open your phone, that nothing gets to dictate your inner state without your permission. And here's the part most people miss: owning your energy isn't about pretending bad things don't happen. It's about building the kind of emotional muscle that allows you to face anything without falling apart. That means no more giving people the remote control to your emotions. Someone talks bad about you. That's their energy, not yours. Someone tries to disrespect you. That's their story, not yours. You get to choose whether you're going to carry it or leave it where it is. Because here's the truth: most of the things that drain you aren't even worth your attention. The problem is, you keep picking them up like you're collecting garbage and then wondering why your life feels heavy. Energy ownership is a daily practice. It's in the way you start your morning. It's in what you feed your mind. It's in the conversations you allow. You can't keep exposing yourself to negativity and then expect to stay positive. If your circle is constantly complaining, gossiping, or doubting, you're going to have to make a choice: protect your energy or please the crowd. You can't do both. There's nothing selfish about saying no to situations that drain you. That's called self-respect. You also have to realize that your energy is contagious. People feel it. When you're solid inside, when you're in control, you walk into a room and change the whole atmosphere. That's not magic, it's discipline. You trained yourself not to be reactive, and now people feel safer, calmer, and more confident just being around you. But the opposite is also true. If you let life push you around, your chaos spreads too. Your kids feel it, your friends feel it, your coworkers feel it. You don't just owe it to yourself to protect your energy, you owe it to everyone connected to you. When you own your energy, you stop living like a thermometer, constantly changing based on the temperature around you, and start living like a thermostat. You set the tone. You decide the vibe. And when people try to bring you down into their storm, you don't sink, You invite them into your calm. That's real power. That's mental freedom. Owning your energy means understanding that the world doesn't owe you perfect conditions. There will be traffic, rude people, unexpected bills, failed plans. That's life. But the moment you stop expecting the world to keep you happy and start generating your own state from within, you become untouchable. You stop chasing peace and start creating it. You stop waiting for a good day and start bringing your own sunshine wherever you go. You stop reacting to life and start directing it. And once you taste that kind of control over your inner state, you'll never give it back to anyone or anything again. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the raw material of strength. Most people spend their whole lives trying to avoid it, numb it, or run from it, but that's like throwing away the very thing that could make you unstoppable. If you think about the strongest, most resilient people you've ever met, none of them got that way by living an easy, comfortable life. They were forged in the fire. They went through the kind of moments that could have broken them. And instead of letting those moments define their limits, they used them to expand what was possible. Turning pain into power begins with a mindset shift. You have to stop seeing struggle as something that's ruining your life and start seeing it as something that's refining your life. That doesn't mean you enjoy suffering. It means you refuse to waste it. You take the lesson, the grit, the emotional muscle it builds, and you turn it into fuel. Because pain in itself doesn't make you stronger. What makes you stronger is what you decide to do with it. Here's the reality: life will hurt you. You will be betrayed. You will lose people. You will fail at something you cared about. There will be days when the weight feels too heavy. And in those moments, you will have a choice. Do you collapse under the pressure, or do you let that pressure form you into something greater? Diamonds don't come from comfort. They come from being crushed. Muscles don't grow without resistance. They grow because of it. Your mind is no different. If you protect it from every form of struggle, you protect it from every form of strength. Most people don't turn pain into power because they get stuck in the "why me" phase. They believe pain is punishment, so they spend years fighting reality instead of learning from it. But the people who rise are the ones who flip the question. They go from "why is this happening to me?" to "what is this trying to teach me?" That shift changes everything. It turns a victim into a fighter. It turns hopelessness into strategy. It's not about pretending what happened didn't hurt. It's about refusing to let it stop you. Turning pain into power also means you stop hiding from your story. So many people are ashamed of what they went through, but the very thing you're hiding is often the thing that can help someone else. When you survive something hard and you talk about it, you give someone else permission to believe they can survive too. You turn your scars into a roadmap for others. That's power. That's legacy. That's impact. And there's another layer to this. When you learn to channel pain, you stop fearing it. Most people live small because they're terrified of getting hurt again. They avoid love because of heartbreak. They avoid risks because of failure. They avoid commitment because of disappointment. But once you've proven to yourself that you can take a hit and still get back up, you become fearless. You know that no matter what life throws at you, you have the ability to adapt, rebuild, and rise again. That's when you become dangerous, not because you seek pain, but because it no longer controls you. Turning pain into power also requires patience. Growth doesn't happen the second you face something hard. Sometimes you won't see the purpose for months or even years. But if you keep moving forward, keep showing up, keep choosing to live with strength instead of surrender, one day you'll look back and realize the thing that felt like it was breaking you was actually building you. You'll realize the weight that was crushing you was actually shaping your foundation. You'll see that without that pain, you wouldn't have the wisdom, empathy, or resilience you have today. The truth is, pain can either be a prison or a weapon. In the hands of someone who refuses to quit, it's a weapon. It sharpens you, it focuses you, it strips away the nonsense, and forces you to see what really matters. It makes you fight harder, dream bigger, and appreciate life in a way you never did before. And once you've learned to turn pain into power, you stop fearing the storms. You start walking into them, knowing you'll come out with more than you had when you walked in. When life gets hard, quitting often feels like the easiest option. The voice in your head starts whispering, maybe you're not cut out for this. Maybe you should just stop trying. That voice is the enemy of every dream you have. The moment you agree with it, you start shrinking your life to fit your current comfort zone. But if you want an unbreakable mindset, you have to make one thing non-negotiable. You never, under any circumstances, quit on yourself. You can change strategies. You can slow down to recover. You can even take a break to catch your breath. But quitting? That's not on the table. Refusing to quit on yourself means you make a decision that you'll keep showing up, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's lonely, even when nobody believes in you. Because here's the truth, there will be days when the support is gone, when the motivation is gone, when the results aren't showing yet. And in those moments, the only thing keeping you moving forward will be your commitment to you. Most people don't fail because they lack talent or opportunity. They fail because they stop before the breakthrough. They let temporary frustration decide the outcome of a lifelong dream. This rule is about loyalty to your future self. Think of it this way, the person you want to be a year from now is counting on you not to give up today. Every time you keep going, you're building that version of yourself brick by brick. Every time you push through, you're sending the message that you can be trusted with your own dreams. But every time you quit, you're telling yourself that your goals weren't worth the fight, and that erodes your confidence more than any external failure ever could. Refusing to quit doesn't mean you won't feel like quitting. You will. Many times, you'll get rejected, criticized, ignored. You'll put in the work and see nothing happen for months. You'll compare yourself to others who seem to be ahead and wonder why you're even trying. But this is where grit comes in. Grit is the ability to stay in the game long enough to see the results. It's easy to be disciplined when you're winning. It's what you do when you're losing that decides your destiny. You also have to realize that persistence changes you. Every time you choose not to quit, you get stronger, not just mentally, but emotionally. You learn how to handle disappointment without losing momentum. You learn how to operate without applause. You learn how to trust your own process, even when it feels like nothing's working. That level of resilience doesn't come from reading motivational quotes. It comes from living through moments when giving up felt like the only option and still deciding to keep going. Refusing to quit also means you stop looking for shortcuts. A lot of people aren't really quitting, they're just switching from one shiny new thing to another, hoping the next one will be easier. But the truth is, every path to success will test you. Every dream will require sacrifice. If you're constantly restarting, you're never building enough momentum to reach the finish line. You have to commit to the process and see it through, even when it's boring, even when it's repetitive, even when it feels like nothing's changing. And let's be real. Sometimes you're not quitting on the dream, you're quitting on yourself because deep down, you don't think you're capable. That's why the most important battles are fought in your own head. You have to silence the voice that says you're not enough. You have to replace it with one that says, I'm not there yet, but I'm not stopping until I am. That shift in self-talk will keep you moving when willpower runs out. There will always be reasons to quit. Lack of time, lack of money, lack of support, but there's one reason to keep going that outweighs them all. You owe it to yourself to see what's possible. If you don't stop, you don't want to look back on your life knowing you gave up right before things were about to change. The pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of quitting on yourself lasts a lifetime. Once you make quitting an option, it becomes a habit. Once you make persistence your default, you become unstoppable. Gratitude is not just about saying thank you when life is good. It's about choosing to focus on what's right even when everything around you feels wrong. If you want an unbreakable mindset, you have to stop treating gratitude like a mood and start treating it like a discipline. Most people think they'll feel grateful once they finally have everything they want. But the truth is, if you can't be grateful with little, you won't be grateful with much. Gratitude is a muscle, and if you don't train it daily, life will always feel like it's not enough. Living with relentless gratitude means you wake up every day and make the choice to see what's here instead of what's missing. You don't wait for perfect circumstances. You create a perspective that makes the circumstances you have work for you. Because no matter what's going on, there's always something to appreciate: your breath, your health, the fact that you've made it through every bad day so far. Most people overlook these things because they're too busy chasing the next thing. But here's the problem: when you're always living in the next, you miss the now. And the now is where life actually happens. Gratitude is also one of the most powerful tools for mental resilience because it shifts your focus from lack to abundance. When you start focusing on what's already good, you build a habit of noticing opportunities instead of obstacles. That doesn't mean you ignore problems. It means you face them from a place of strength. A grateful mind can handle storms better because it's anchored in what's still solid instead of drowning in what's falling apart. And here's the thing: gratitude changes your energy. People can feel it when you live with appreciation. You walk differently. You speak differently. You carry yourself with a kind of lightness, even in heavy seasons. That kind of energy attracts better people, better opportunities, and better solutions. Gratitude doesn't just make you happier, it makes you magnetic. Living with relentless gratitude doesn't mean you deny your pain or pretend bad things aren't happening. It means you hold both truths in your hands. Yes, this situation is hard, but yes, I still have reasons to be thankful. That's the difference between toxic positivity and real gratitude. A toxic positivity tells you to ignore the pain. Real gratitude teaches you to see the gifts inside the pain. Maybe the struggle is teaching you patience. Maybe the loss is teaching you how deeply you can love. Maybe the failure is pointing you toward a better path. Gratitude opens your eyes to those hidden lessons. When you live this way, setbacks stop feeling like the end of the story. They become part of a bigger picture you're still thankful for. You stop waiting for the storm to pass and start dancing in the rain because you know the rain is feeding the growth you can't see yet. Gratitude gives you the patience to keep going when the results aren't immediate because you've learned to appreciate the process, not just the outcome. Another thing about gratitude, it's contagious. When you practice it consistently, you shift the atmosphere around you. People start noticing that no matter what's going on, you still find something to smile about. That inspires them. That challenges them to see their own life differently. In a world where most conversations revolve around complaints, your gratitude becomes a light in the dark. You become the person people want to be around, not because your life is perfect, but because your perspective is powerful. And the more you practice it, the less room you have for fear, envy, and resentment. Gratitude and negativity can't coexist. They cancel each other out. When you're focused on what's good, there's no space for what's missing to control you. You start feeling lighter, freer, and more in control of your emotions. You stop comparing yourself to others because you're too busy appreciating what's yours. Relentless gratitude is a decision you make every single day, not just when you feel like it. It's writing down 3 things you're thankful for even when you're exhausted. It's stopping for a moment in the middle of a chaotic day to acknowledge something beautiful. It's telling people you appreciate them without waiting for a special occasion. And over time, this way of living rewires your brain. It makes you resilient because you're no longer dependent on external events to feel okay. You carry your own source of joy everywhere you go. Your values don't mean much until they're tested. It's easy to talk about integrity, honesty, and loyalty when life is comfortable and there's nothing at stake. But the real measure of who you are comes in those moments when sticking to your principles costs you something. An opportunity, a relationship, a quick win. This is where most people bend, compromise, or pretend they didn't see the line they just crossed. But if you want an unbreakable mindset, you have to be the kind of person who stays true even when it hurts, even when nobody's watching, even when you could get away with doing the opposite. Staying true when tested means you stop negotiating your values for temporary rewards. In a world where shortcuts, lies, and manipulation seem to get people ahead, it takes courage to play the long game. The truth is, people who cheat their way to the top may win fast, but they lose even faster because they've built their success on a foundation that can't hold weight. When you choose to protect your integrity, you might move slower, but you move in a way that lasts. You can put your head on the pillow at night without wondering if your house of cards is about to collapse. The real test isn't in the big, dramatic moments. It's in the small daily decisions. It's in whether you keep your word when it's inconvenient. It's in whether you treat people with respect when you know they can't do anything for you. It's in whether you choose what's right over what's easy, even when nobody would blame you for cutting a corner. Every one of those moments is a vote for the kind of person you're becoming, and over time, they build a reputation that speaks louder than anything you could say about yourself. When you stay true in hard times, you also build trust, both with others and with yourself. Trust with others is obvious. People know they can rely on you, which means they'll follow you, support you, and stand by you. But trust with yourself is just as important. Every time you honor your values under pressure, you strengthen your self-respect. You look in the mirror and see someone who doesn't break under temptation. That self-trust is powerful because it means when the next test comes, you already know you can handle it. It's also important to understand that staying true doesn't mean being perfect. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fall short sometimes. The difference between someone with integrity and someone without it is that the person with integrity owns their mistakes, learns from them, and makes it right. They don't hide from accountability. They see it as part of the process of becoming stronger. That willingness to face the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, is part of what keeps you unbreakable. The tests will come in many forms. Sometimes it's a moral test, choosing between profit and honesty. Sometimes it's an emotional test, choosing between revenge and forgiveness. Sometimes it's a personal test, choosing between comfort and growth. And the hard part is, the pressure in those moments will often be intense. You'll feel like bending just this once won't matter. But it always matters. Compromise becomes a habit just like discipline does. The path you take once becomes easier to take again. The people who inspire us the most are the ones who stayed true when they had every reason not to. They were tempted, criticized, and pushed to the edge, but they refused to let circumstances decide their character. That's the level you want to reach, not because it's easy, but because it's rare. In a world full of people chasing quick gains, be the one who plays for legacy. In a world where many will sacrifice their principles for comfort, be the one who sacrifices comfort for principles. Staying true when tested also has a way of bringing the right people into your life. When you live by your values, you naturally repel those who would try to corrupt them and attract those who respect and share them. Your circle gets smaller, but it gets stronger. And in the long run, that's worth far more than any opportunity you might have gotten by betraying yourself. This rule is about building a life you can be proud of, a life where you don't have to hide parts of your story, where you don't have to pretend to be something you're not, where you can face every test, knowing that whatever happens, you didn't sell yourself out. Because the greatest victory isn't in winning at all costs, it's in winning without losing who you are. An unbreakable mindset isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, brick by brick, choice by choice, day after day. It's the decision to own your energy so the world can't control you, to turn pain into power, so nothing you face is wasted, to refuse to quit on yourself, no matter how many times you're knocked down, to live with relentless gratitude, so your focus stays on what's strong instead of what's missing, and to stay true when tested so you can walk through life with your head high and your heart clear. These aren't just motivational ideas, they're disciplines, and when you live by them, you stop being at the mercy of circumstances and start directing the course of your own life. You become the kind of person who can weather storms, rise from setbacks, and keep moving forward with purpose, power, and peace, no matter what the world throws at you.